हेलो कल्याणी मैम। हेलो।
हाँ देवाशीष बाबू हाँ कहूँ
हाँ मैडम एवं स्टार्ट करिए।
हाँ आप कहले करवा जिते कहबे करवा
हाँ
ଏବେ
हाँ एवं स्टार्ट कर दियो बस ये लाइन।
Namaskar to all of you, esteemed senior members. देवाशीष मो voice सुना होची तो am I audible to all of you?
यस मैम यू आर ऑडिबल यू आर ऑडिबल।
Esteemed members of the philosophy family, respected members of the organizing committee, today's speaker Pramod Kumar Das sir, moderator Mr. Devashish, and my dear student friends. I welcome you all. I welcome you all to this ethics and applied ethics sessions of philosophy family. Today we have with us Pramod Kumar Das as our speaker. Actually, he needs no introduction at all. He is the chief architect of the philosophy Taj Mahal. During the lockdown period, when we all were enjoying our quality time with family and children, he was busy in articulating his mission as well as vision. His vision is to popularize philosophy in nook and corner of the society, and his mission is this philosophy family. Now, through philosophy family, more than 600 people are connected across India. Through this platform, he wants to build a good and sound band of teachers, researchers, and students. I congratulate you, sir, for your concern for the subject philosophy and your persistent and genuine endeavor. Today, our speaker, Pramod Kumar Das, is going to address us on theories of morality. We all know that human actions are multifarious, and the moral worth of our actions are determined by different ethical paradigms. Today's speaker, Pramod Kumar Das, presently working as the head Department of Philosophy, Noyagad Autonomous College, Noyagad, Odisha, is going to address the different ethical paradigms, mainly utilitarianism, rigorism, and perfectionism in his deliberation. So friends, without wasting your time, I request Pramod Kumar Das sir to address the participants. Over to Pramod sir. Pramod sir, hello.
हाँ
Pramod,
मैडम नमस्कार। मैडम नमस्कार नमस्कार। Am I audible?
sir. Yes sir.
Okay, okay. Respected Dr. Kalyani Sarangi, coordinator of this session, my dear Devashish, and very esteemed participants. In philosophy, we should have two promises. The first promise is we shall be silent. Silent means whenever we are going to listen to anybody else, or whenever we are going to take a class, even if whenever we are going to teach, we should have a silent mind. The mind which is free from all types of preoccupied thoughts and interferences. And the second promise is, with that silent mind, we should be very much conscious that if the first sentence is not understood, we should not jump to the second sentence. I always speak this to my students. If the first sentence is not understood, never go to the second sentence. That is the beauty of philosophical understanding. Just 1 minute. And particularly when we are going to discuss about ethics, we should be very much conscious about these two promises. Why? Ethics is directly concerned with human action. And when we discuss about human action, that directly reflects our thought, our feelings, our entire personality. Our thought can be edited. We can edit our thought. Suppose I think this today, tomorrow I can change my thought. I can change the metaphysical standpoints of the world. I can change my world view. I can change my thought. I can change my argument. I can change my feelings. But once it is translated into action, it cannot be changed. Action done means done. Thought means not thought. We can edit it. This was my thought yesterday, but today I am thinking like this. Wittgenstein changed his thought from Tacitus to philosophical investigation, and there are changes in thought. But when our thought, our feelings, our emotions, our sentiments get translated into our action, that becomes our personality that we cannot edit. Therefore, we should be very much conscious when we discuss about action and when we do action. This is very important. Therefore, in all systems of Indian philosophy, ethical disciplines are discussed in the last part. They discuss about metaphysics, they discuss about epistemology. Then comes ethics. So, in thought, there may be confusions, there may be different types of interruptions. We can be confused in our thought. Debasis, mute him.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Gaurahari Majhi.
Yes, sir.
Action done means done. So this is very risk. Nobody can excuse. Action done means you are responsible for that. You cannot say that I shall edit my action. You may edit, but that will be another action, not the substitute of that or a correction of that. Therefore, when we are going to study ethics, we have to keep in our mind that we are going to study about human action. Ethics means action. Ethics comes from the word ethos, which also means conduct or habit. But when we make analysis, we make discussion about ethics, discussion about different theories of ethics, we make an analytic study, that is not ethics. That is meta-ethics. That is the philosophy of ethics. That is the analysis of ethics. You are just discussing about ethics. And when we analyze the action, as we can analyze the principles, similarly, we can analyze our actions contextually. Then we come to the applied ethics. We shall go to that in details. My point is here, why there are different standards of morality? Why there are different theories of morality? Are they meant for practical living, or they are only theories for the sake of discussion? That these theories are there, they will be discussed in the classroom. No. There are many theories because of the possibility of a human behavior. That human beings can behave in many possible ways. So by observing the possible behaviors of human beings, different philosophers have suggested different theories. What are these possibilities? One is sensuous. Because man is, basically we are all animals. Many times I find myself as an animal. There is no difference between myself and a dog. I shall say how there is no difference, how I am identified with a dog. Dog is an animal, I am also an animal. Ahara, Nidra, Bhaya, Maithuna, all these are common to animals and human beings. These things they do, these things we do, so we cannot say, sometimes we ignore, we forget the fact that we are animals. That is a dogma. If we think that we are only rational human beings, then that is a dogma. Because we ignore our animal qualities, which influence our character, which influence our behavior very much. So one possibility of human behavior is sensuous behavior. Because I have sense organs, I want to satisfy my sense organs. I feel hunger. I feel hungry. Therefore, I take food. Similarly, my eyes and other sense organs, they want to be satisfied in different ways. The second possibility is understanding that I have a mind. My mind thinks, and out of that, being prompted by my thought, I do many actions. And I understand the nature of action. And the third possibility is self-realization. That I realize what is the limit of my sensation, what is the limit of my understanding. And according to that realization, I also act. So basically there are three possibilities. There are other possibilities also there, but basically we can bracket all possibilities into these three possibilities. Sensing, understanding, and realization. Sense organ, mind, and soul. Sentient self, rational self, and the total self. Total means including both sentient self and rational self. The very source of sensation and reflection, sensation and rationalization. That is consciousness. These three possibilities. I always find myself with these three possibilities. That my sense organs are very much active. I am always busy to fulfill their demands. My mind is very much active. My mind also makes me engaged in different activities. This is what I am now doing. It is a mental activity. I exercise my mind here. And also at the same time, I speak through my mouth. I can see the mobile screen. So my sense organs are also engaged. I am hearing the response of the audience. And at the same time, I am conscious that I am speaking. Therefore, I am assimilating the past talk, middle talk, and what I shall speak in the conclusion. I assimilate all these things. These three possibilities are always with us. Observing these three possibilities within human beings, different philosophers have suggested mainly three. One is hedonism, or in a broad sense, we can say utilitarianism. Then from the mind aspect, rationalism, and from the soul aspect, we can say the perfectionism or self-realization. These three are not three alternative principles that you can manage with hedonism, or you can manage with rationalism, or you can manage with self-realization. It is discussed in our ethics book as three independent chapters. And we teach accordingly. But that is not the fact. We cannot manage with hedonism, ignoring rationalism and self-realization. We cannot manage with rationalism, ignoring hedonism by utilitarianism and self-realization. And very self-realization means realization of the best use of our sensation and rationalization or understanding. We cannot take one. We cannot manage with one. These three are necessary. These three are mandatory for ethical living. Now come to utilitarianism. Some philosophers, they observe, they observe and they focus on the importance of the function of our sense organs. Who are the close friends of human beings? Very close friends, they are our sense organs. Sense organs are very even better than minds. Sense organs are our best friends. So they focus on that our sense organs demand many things, and man naturally seeks pleasure. It is the nature of man, it's the psychological nature of man to seek pleasure by satisfying the demands of sense organs. This is not an option. This is fact. We all experience that. This is not that it is said by Bentham or Mill. I here do not advocate any philosopher. Whatever I shall speak from our experience. What Bentham said, what Mill said, what Kant said, what Hegel said, what Bradley said, forget that. Is it a fact or not that we have sense organs and we have sense experience out of that? Sense organs have certain demands. We fulfill such demands and get pleasure. Yes, we shall all admit that these things happen to us. We cannot escape that. Now, what is the problem? Here I shall give my own interpretation to my students. In order to understand this, my purpose is that whatever I am going to speak, that students should understand. How can we address our sense organs? And how do we do that in our practical life? What do we do with our sense organs? David Hume said that sensations are discrete and there is no logical connection between sensations. And other philosophers say that there is a continuity in sensations. I shall give an example. Suppose in your dining table, there is a plate of mutton. So those who love mutton, their sense organs will be very well engaged with the dish. What I see the plate of mutton. This is my present sensation. But I have seen the goat who was grazing in the fields yesterday. That was also my sensation. If I shall describe the entire series of sensation, that will be like this. The goat is grazing in the field. I saw it through my eye. Then the goat was sold to a man with some money. That I saw, that I sensed. Then the butcher killed the goat with a knife, and I saw it, and I felt the pain, the groaning, the mourning, the suffering of the goat, how it was mourning when it was being killed, that I saw. Then the skins of the goat were snatched. It was hanged a, by a stick somewhere for selling. That I saw. Customers around the shop were ready to purchase. Somebody is requesting that I need the left side back left side leg. Somebody is waiting for the right side leg. Somebody is waiting for the heart. Somebody is waiting for the head. All these I noticed and I sensed. Then the flesh, the meat that was weight. How gross the sensation is, you just imagine. Now the goat that was a living being became an object which can be weighed. 1 kg, 2 kg. Suppose there is a mistake in weighing, the customer will say, no, you are cheating. The balance is not constant. Give 1 piece more, 1 piece more. Then that was weighed. It was brought home. It was cooked. Then it was served on the plate. This is the series of a sensation which I have experienced thoroughly. Take for example. But what we really do, whenever we sit for eating in the dining table, we skip, underline the word skip. We just skip the previous causal sensations. I don't agree with David Hume. Come to be practical. Be practical. I have seen the entire causal sensations. This mutton plate of a mutton plate is the effect. But the cause, there is a causal series. We can extend that to the fact that the goat was grazing yesterday, happily, innocently. That was the root. And before that, we can also go to previous history. But whenever we sit for dining in the dining table, we skip all these previous sensations and we focus on the mutton, the plate. We sense that, we taste that, we become happy by seeing the plate. Oh, how beautiful, looking very nice. My eye sense organ gets satisfied. Then I taste it. I relished the taste. Oh, it was very tasty. In this particular example, what we did, we focused on a particular point of sensation, and we forgot knowingly or unknowingly. The best is mute Amrita. We just skipped up the series of sensations and we focused on only the plate of a mutton which is ready which is served for us in the dining table. This is the position of the philosophers who focus on sensuous pleasure. We skipped all these previous sensations. This is the case of one person. Suppose another person, you take another person and we shall observe how he responds. I have asked a student who is my student who is a vegetarian. He said, "What?" I asked, "What do you see there?" He said, "I don't see mutton, sir. I see the eye of the goat. On that plate, I don't see the mutton, cooked mutton. I see the eye of the goat, the innocent eye of the goat. Therefore, I cannot take it, sir." Understand the level of attachment, level of vision. Okay. One person who is extremely happy. Oh, today we shall have mutton. When before that, when at the time from the time of purchasing, he's happy. I shall eat. I shall take mutton today in my lunch. But another person responds to the same situation. He says, "No, I don't see mutton. I see the innocent eye of the goat." Here comes the difference between these two persons, that one is focusing on the present sensation and the other is focusing on the entire series of sensation. That I have seen that goat yesterday grazing in the field. That name, the name of a goat was X or Y. I was very familiar with that goat. I love that goat. And today, that goat is served on the plate. Just don't take it so seriously. This is an example. Now I am giving. So what is the utility? Now the utility is that I have purchased mutton 500 per one kilogram. 500 rupees. So that is the utility. So this is the value of a mutton. And now it is served in our house, in our home, and now it is cooked in our home, and now it is served in my dining table. So that is the utility. So my present sensation has utility. The previous sensations do not have any utility value. I am giving another example. What is a father? What is a father? Father is described in the modern society as whether the father is getting pension or not. If the if father does not get any pension for his old age, then he is called a Buddha, the old man. The old man. Hey, who cares? This is father in our society. If the father gets pension, then how? It's my father. I have visited many family, and whatever I am saying the fact of the society. Even if parents have pension, the children are, if there are many children, two sons or three sons, they have the competition who will keep father, because he will enjoy the pension. When the father will become unconscious, then father will thrown to the last room of the building, or in the garage room, or any place which is not so much important. That father will stay there. This is father. Then what is utility? The pension of the old father is the utility. Otherwise, father is useless. What I see now, what I sense now, and now I sense that my father has become old. What I skipped? I skipped all the previous sensations, how my father had taken care of me, how my father loved me, what my father did for me, what my father sacrificed for me. I skipped all these previous sensations. Now I focus on the present sensation that my father is a pension holder. Now my father has become old, useless. And if a father has no pension or no bank balance, no property, then the very fatal situation of father. The father may be killed or may be neglected. I don't universalize it. I don't generalize it. This is the case. What is happening? If this is not the case, there should not be any old age home. Okay. So this is father. The problem is if we focus on sensualistic pleasure, generally or intentionally, we skip off the previous sensations and we focus on the present sensation, present what I perceive now, what I am now, and who is before me now, and what is his condition. This is not only in Western culture, this is also in India what we are doing. I am giving another example. So that why I am giving many examples, because I can justify the first example will be justified by the second example, and the second example will be justified by the third example, and all these three examples will justify my stand. Now come to the third example. A 50 years old man does not hesitate to rape a 5-year-old girl. This is happening in our society. What is the utility value of that man of 50-year-old? Now what I sense now? Now I sense the object of sex in the 5-year-old. What he skipped? He skipped the fact that I am a 50 years old man. I am just like the grandfather of that child. He skipped the fact that she is a child, immature child, does not know anything about sex. And he skipped the fact that I am a socially responsible being. He skipped the fact that this act will attract the punishment. He skipped all these things. What he sends now? He sends now that the object of sex is available before him. Therefore, he is prompted to rape the girl. Otherwise, he can't. That is the utility value. Now I shall get it. Now I shall possess it. Now I shall have it. At any cost, whatever may be happen, whatever may happen, whatever may be the consequence. Now I want this, I want to get this. In all types of corruptions, when we are taking bribe, when we are torturing the daughter-in-law in our houses, all types of um, mistakes that blunders that we commit, that is only due to the immediate response of our sense organs. We do not, I am not talking about understanding, I shall go to that. We simply focus on our present sensation. Suppose I am a diabetic patient, I should not eat Rasagolla, but when I look at Rasagolla, I am interested to take Rasagolla. And here I apply the logic, oh, this time I shall take, nothing will happen. People eat and overeat, very consciously eat and become fat. They know this, but they do that. Because while they eat very sensuously, that now I am eating, as if I am born for that. Eating is the goal of my life. They forget about their health. They forget everything. So in causal series, when we focus our mind, our sense organs on a particular sensation, from the effect, we skip the cause, and from the effect, we skip the consequences too. For this dogma of skipping, for this mistake of skipping, now government is also very much conscious. I am giving an example how government is conscious about our attitude of skipping. In our childhood, there was a Cavender cigarette, and on the cover, our film star who became sannyasi, I don't just don't remember, but his picture was very much attractive in that cover. But now Sriram Panda appeared on the cover of that cigarette packet, and he became national also. Now he has taken sannyas. But today you buy a cigarette packet, you will see there is a picture of wounded throat, very ugly. You can't see wounded throat, cancer, symbol of cancer. And the entire cover is filled up with that. Still that people purchase cigarettes and take it. How government is conscious? Government feels that when a customer is going to purchase a cigarette, he will skip its consequences. He will skip the advices of elderly persons. Many people must have advised that don't take cigarette. That the customer will skip that. And the customer will skip the after effects that will lead to cancer, etc. Therefore, now we find the wounded throat symbol, because at least while purchasing the cigarette, one will see the consequence and will not skip. So sensual pleasure is necessary. Sensual necessary means it is natural because we are animals. We are animals. We are animals. We need ahara, nidra, bhaya, maithuna, not these four. I shall speak 20, 30, 50 such items which are common with animals. We are animals. All these things are natural. But we should not skip its causes and its effects. We should be conscious that what I am sensing now, is it real or it's an illusion? The mutton plate is illusion. The real mutton is the goat that was grazing in the fields. The cigarette is illusion because the real cigarette is the cancer. The rape of the child is illusion because it is only my imagination. It is only my present sensation, present appetite. That is illusion. We forget this. Therefore, utilitarianism could not stand as a holistic ethical discipline. Maybe it is altruistic. What shall you sell? Maybe it is egoistic or altruistic. Suppose my base is not pure. Suppose I shall sell poison. I shall sell poison to the maximum numbers of people. Is it correct? What we sell in the market? In market, we purchase the thing which is poisonous. The food are poisonous, but that is sold for all. So if my base is wrong, then my distribution to all is also wrong. Maybe it is altruistic. Altruistic is not equal with universalism, as Kant said. Meaning of universalism is much wider than altruistic. If the source of a pleasure is sensualistic, it does not have any merit whether it is extended to an individual or to all. Quantitative utilitarianism. What does it mean? You speak of a utility. What is the value of a wife nowadays? The wife has become an object. The object is that the wife is beautiful. What is the utility of a wife? Now, wife is beautiful. So beauty is the utility of a wife. If you will go to the court of law, then you will go through the divorce cases. You will come to know there are many cases pending for discussion for discussion in the court. They are based on the sexual satisfaction or not. That means sex is the object of a conjugal life. That is the utility. If that utility is not there, then the wife is not wife, husband. What is husband? Husband is money. Father is money, I told. All these things are there only because of the influence of utilitarianism. What is the utility? What shall I get? What shall I get? What will be the consequence? If I shall do this, what shall I get? In which way I shall be benefited? Bentham spoke of hedonistic calculus, that we can calculate, we can weigh pleasure, weigh pain. But we speak of sensual pleasure, then we also speak of the quantity of pleasure. How much you got? He spoke of 7 dimensions, that intensity, duration, frequency, etc., etc. There are 7 dimensions. The 7 dimensions speak of the quantitative measurement of pleasure. And Mill said about the qualitative aspect of a pleasure. But what is the root? The root is the sensual pleasure. If the root is sensation, then whatever color we may add to that in the name of altruism, in the name of a qualitative utilitarianism, that will never stand. I shall speak this much, but I am not going to the textbook details because that is already known to all of you. Now I am going to the second possibility, that is the possibility of understanding. Kant said that not the sentient self, but the rational self should guide us. We should be guided by our rational self, our understanding faculty, our understanding faculty. Because I am endowed with a mind. God has given me a mind to think of the series of sensations. Who can observe? Who can perceive the perception? There is perception, but there is a perception of perception. There is thinking, there is a thinking of thinking. There is consciousness of consciousness. That is called self-consciousness. If there is perception, there is a series of perception. Who is observing the series? Not my eye, not my nose, not my mouth, not my sense organs. Sense organs are always engaged with the present sensation. Therefore, David Hume said that is discrete. But who is perceiving the series of sensations? That is mind. Mind can assimilate the series of sensations from a goat which was grazing in the field to the mutton plate. The entire series of sensation was witnessed by my mind. So my mind should be that alert to assimilate all these forms of experiences. Now, what is the principle? Instead of focusing on the object of action or the action itself, we shall focus on the principles. Kant spoke of principles. Kant says, don't focus on your action. First build up the principles, the form. What should you do? First decide. Then you will attend your sense organs. Don't allow your sense organs, because there is a master mind which can control your sense organs. Many people tell me that you have nothing. You don't have this, you don't have this, you don't have this, you don't have this, you don't have this. I don't give consent. If I do not give consent that I have nothing, then I have everything. I am satisfied with what I have. Because my mind does not give that consent. Therefore, I am not affected by that comment. So when my mind is alert, I cannot allow my sense organs to be engaged in the immediate sensation, like the raping of the child or the eating mutton or doing all types of violent actions. I got angry and I murdered that person. No, I can't do that. Because I am not only an animal, I am an animal, but not only an animal, I have a rational faculty. I can think over it. I can guide my sense organs. Here comes rationality. Here comes rational thinking. Here comes understanding. We have to understand the sensations. We are not a passive receiver of sensations. I have a free mind. I have a free understanding. I should understand the sense organs. I should I should understand my eye. I should understand my nose. I should understand because they are my friends. They are not my enemies. I should understand my friends. Oh friend, come, come. What you want to see? I want to this. No, no, that is not good. I don't let you see that. Now please, please, this time, this. No, not at all. Because you will be in trouble. When this command will come to you, then you will be a more ethical person in the society. That yes, like other people, like other animals, I have sense organs, but I have also a mind to groom my sense organs, to control my sense organs. Therefore, I am a man. So Kant focused on the principle of action, not action. What is the principle of action? Duty should be done for the sake of duty. It is the principle. Whatever is the duty, that should be done for its own sake, not for the sake of anything else, not for the sake of a pleasure, not for the sake of any merit, any appreciation. No. Whatever is my duty, I should do that. So first, make your mind clear about the principle. When you are going by a car, you should know what is your destination. Yes, I am going to Bhubaneswar. Then you can go to Bhubaneswar. If you do not know where to go, then that will be a situation just like a radarless ship in the big ocean. Big ocean, big ship, but the ship has no radar. If I shall be guided by sense organs only, then I am just like a radarless ship in the big ocean. My mind should command, my mind should rule the sense organs, to groom the sense organs. How? Now, mind can discipline sense organs, my sensuous aptitude, my appetites for framing certain principles. And that principles must be universal. Because only universal principles can make us disciplined. Universal means impartial. Impartial. It is impartially meant for all. Duty should be done for the sake of duty. It is the duty of a man. What is your duty? Now, your duty should be done for the sake of duty. If you have not done your duty for the sake of duty or for sake of anything else, that is your selfish attitude. Why do you serve your father? Now, because father gets pension. I shall serve father because father should be served. I shall love father because father should be loved. This is the principle. Father may get pension or not, it has no meaning for me. I shall love father because I am a son. I shall love father because father is father. Categorical imperative means unconditional. Love should be unconditional. Respect should be unconditional. No condition can bind me. I should be a free man. I should be free from all conditions. That freedom is necessary for morality. A free mind can become an ethical mind. Freedom. Why should I do this? Why should I do this? Because it should be done. Because it should be done. Nothing else. Second thing that Kant said, make your principle universal. That I told. Second thing, that don't treat anybody as a means. You should treat everybody as an end. If I am taking care of my father because he is getting pension, then my father becomes a means. His pension becomes a means. If this condition is not there, then I shall not take care. It becomes conditional. We cannot treat ourselves as means, and we cannot treat anybody else as means. What I am eating mutton. So the goat who was grazing in the field became the means of my eating, which was not necessary. That is not my necessary food. That is my luxury. That is not my necessary. For my survival, it is not necessary that I shall kill a goat and eat mutton. I cannot do that. Then we should act as if everything is pursued for the kingdom of ends, work in the world of ends, where everything is pursued for the end, nothing as a means. And don't do that for anybody which you do not like to do for you, which you do not, the way you don't want to be treated, don't treat anybody like that. These are the principles, rational principles, reasons, which are strictly followed by a rational man. So our behavior should be rational behavior. Our action should be rational behavior, rational action. But these two, sensation, sensing and understanding, are two dogmas. Understanding is also a dogma. If any principle becomes rigorous, it cannot be ethical. If it will become too much sensuous, it is of no use. If you will become too much rational, ignoring the what Kant committed a mistake. Personally, I feel Kant spoke of the principle of duty. Kant did not speak of what is duty. Kant only spoke of the principle of duty. Principle, forms, not the content. What should be, what is your duty? This is also another dogma. Some people you might have seen that they are very much rigorous in their thoughts. They never allow the second thought. I think so and so. This is final. No, that is not the way. That is not the way. We cannot live our practical life by this way. This is a dogma. You have to be flexible in your thoughts. Here comes realization that a person should realize the limit of my sensation and the limit of my understanding. As my sensations go wrong, so my understanding also may go wrong. That is more dangerous. Understanding is more difficult than sensation. If you understood something wrongly, then that will carry you throughout your life. You cannot rectify yourself if you don't want to. So understanding, the nature of understanding is realization. That we should understand what we are understanding. We should observe what we perceive, our perception. We should perceive what we perceive. We should understand what we understand. Here comes realization, that is the total self. Total self means it is all inclusive. It goes beyond my sensation and reflection or my understanding. Here comes a great revolution in ethics. What was before? It was before that principles determine action. It is just like a Copernican revolution. As Kant made a Copernican revolution in philosophy, in epistemology, similarly, applied ethics made such a Copernican revolution in ethics. What is that revolution? Now, before that, it was that principles determine action. This is the principle. If you act according to this principle, then your action is good. According to applied ethics, or we shall discuss now perfectionism or self-realization, that is very similar with applied ethics. According to applied ethics, the just opposite. Actions determine the principle. Principles determine the action. These are the principles. These are the principles. Hedonism is the principle. If something gives you pleasure, that is good. The principle is the pleasure. If something gives pleasure, then that action is good. First comes the principle, then action. Rationalism, reason, principle, respect for the law. Rationalism says that we should have respect for the law. So that is the principle. If any action is based upon that principle, then that is good. So here comes principle first, then action. But in applied ethics, comes action first. According to the nature of your action, principle will be determined. For example, the entire Bhagavad Gita is applied ethics. We dogmatically say that applied ethics was introduced in 20th century. The entire Bhagavad Gita, I am not talking about Veda and Upanishad, particularly in Bhagavad Gita, the entire situation from the chapter 1 to chapter 18, that is applied ethics. And that was the position of Arjuna in the battlefield, where Lord Krishna explained Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. That was not a classroom of a university professor. That was the battlefield, where arrow is ready from the bow, where the enemies stand before us. Everybody is ready for fighting. That is a battlefield. Everybody is in the action mood. There is action mode. That is not a classroom. That is the abstract discussions will go on. No. And there Arjuna is confused what to do and what not to do. Lord Krishna says to Arjuna, if you do not fight, then you will be treated as a coward. So action comes first. If you do not fight, you will become a coward. If you fight with anger, animosity, then you will be treated as a cruel man. You are not a fighter. So here comes action first. You cannot quit the war. You will be treated as a coward. Even if you fight, you cannot fight with animosity. You should fight for the protection of dharma. But your nature, your principle, by your characteristic of action will be determined after you do that action, not before that. You are educated. Now you are educated. I have told you everything. But the way you will act, that will determine the principle. This is just the existentialism. Whether essence precedes to existence or existence precedes essence. Which comes first? Existentialism says that as you exist in a particular situation, your essence is created accordingly. That is the position of self-realization, perfectionism, that here you are thrown into the world with the ready-made situations, and the situations are also varying, are changing. You have to cope with the situation. You have to deal with the situation with your free mind. Nobody will guide you. And whatever will you do, you will be responsible for that. You will get its exact consequence. But what will you do? That freedom you have. So when one is free to do, he is not determined for any action. He is free from doing any action. He is not determined because he has freedom to. But once he did something, he became a part of his action, and he will get its consequence. Therefore, it is said, my station and its duties. Duty is not fixed. Duty is fixed. Duty depends upon the station where I am. Bradley. My station and its duties. Where I am. In my childhood, the Purusa Express, the train which is also now going from Puri to New Delhi, I always think that this is our train because it's Purusa Express. It's the name. It is named after Lord Jagannath. So it is our train. It starts from Puri. So many times I have gone to Delhi by that train, and in all stations I have seen that the passengers, those who enter into the train, they also claim that this is their train. So the train, when the train leaves from one station to one station, and it loses its character. The train which is in Puri station is not the same train in Bhubaneswar station or in Cuttack station. Then I asked the guard, oh, this is Purusa Express? Very interestingly, he said, no, this is not a Purusa Express. The label is Purusa Express. If the label is be withdrawn, then it is no train at all. So that is the illusion. The train which I thought my train, our train, then again I thought that it is the train of others. Then I came to the conclusion, this is not a train at all. Not a train at all, man. This is not a Purusa Express. The label is the Purusa Express. If the label will be changed, then it is another train. Similarly, where I exist in this particular station. So my duty will be fixed according to this particular station. So there should not be any absolutism, absolute principle that one should not tell a lie. We cannot say. One should tell a lie and one should not tell a lie. These two things are equally ethical depending upon the situation where you stand, depending upon the station where you will live. Therefore, in perfectionism, it is said that don't become an individual, become a person. Person means who has a personality. Who has a personality? Be a person, be a person. Hegel saying, be a person. Don't be a common man. Be a person. Person means you should have personality. Personality means that who has mature understanding of the limitations of my sensation and my understanding. My sensations can disturb me, and my understanding also can disturb me, can misguide me. So one should be neutral. So when ethics studies human action, that action does not have a fixed principle. If by applying this, so there may be 100 standards of morality, but which standard is applicable in this situation, that is important. Sometimes we should get angry. Sometimes that may be intention. I may pretend to get angry, but I should. In another situation, I should be very polite. I should be very loving. So what I am, I do not need one fixed characteristics, because I am living in a society, I am living through situations, through contexts. So here comes contextuality. Contextuality is the neutral of principles. Context will decide which principle is good and which principle is bad. Context will decide whether you should speak truth or you should speak lie. Context will decide whether you should be liberal or you should be strict. Context will decide which type of a punishment should be given to a criminal, whether it is deterrent or reformative or retributive, even if whether the criminal may be excused. The context will decide. Therefore, in the court of law, there is no fixed law. Every judgment becomes a law, because every judgment depends upon a context. That is the case study. What is the case? What is the case? Now, this is the case. Here, this is an exceptional case. So for this exception, we can frame a separate principle. So we cannot live with a fixed principle within our mind. That is a dogma. We should be free from that. First of all, we should control. I shall speak another 15 minutes. So I request the basis don't stop me, because I want to conclude. So I shall end my talk at 7:45, and another 15 minutes we shall discuss question and answer. Because now I am coming to the conclusion. So first I had told that human beings have three possibilities. There are different theories of morality, because there are different possibilities of human behavior. So not that we shall manage with one option. You cannot live your whole life with hedonism. You cannot live your whole life with rationalism. You cannot, rather you can live with perfectionism because because it gives you freedom. And man is a freedom seeking animal. Man is a freedom seeking animal. Man loves freedom. There is no freedom in rationalism. There is no freedom in sensation. But there is freedom in perfectionism because the situation is at your hand. The situation will determine the principle, what you should do and what you should not do. So now again come to the sensation. When I sense something, not only I sense through my sense organs, I sense it with certain uh, propensities. For example, I am angry, then my perception will be something different. Suppose I am greedy, so my perception will be something different. So perception is also infected by my propensities. Similarly, my understanding is also infected by my preoccupied thoughts, my education, my family background, my sanskara, my dispositions. Understanding is also infected by that. How I am brought up, what is my culture, to which family I belong to, the family I belong to. All these things regulate my understanding. Sometimes many students take their teacher's ideal. That is also a problem. Don't take anybody as your ideal. Be you. You become you. You are you. You have a free mind. So as you regulate your sensations, you too regulate your mind, discipline your mind, understand the limitation of mind, understand the limitation of your sensations. That understanding is realization. Realization that comes from the total self. As Plato said, three souls. I am not exactly. I am not going to that. But here also we have three faculties: sensing, understanding, and a realization.
Hello, Pramod sir. Hello.
मैडम डिस्कनेक्ट ହେଇଛନ୍ତି नेटवर्क प्रॉब्लम बोधे
ଆପଣ କଥା ହେଲେ କି ଦେବାଶିଷ ସାର୍ କଥା ହେଲେ ପ୍ରମୋଦ ସାର୍ ସାଙ୍ଗରେ?
ମୁଁ ଫୋନ କରିଥିଲି କିନ୍ତୁ ସେ କାଟି ଦେଲେ ମାନେ ଆଉ କାହା ସହିତ କଥା ହଉଥିଲି କି ମୁଁ କନେକ୍ଟ କରୁଥିଲି ବୋଧେ କଣ
ଆଚ୍ଛା ଆଚ୍ଛା ଆଚ୍ଛା. So let's wait. Huh?
Hello. Am I audible?
yes sir you are audible now you were disconnected I think network issue
Mhm. So before 5 days, I had gone to my village. My friend did the same thing, and he went fast and escorted me. So that day, I asked him that why did you do this? And when I am talking this, I am feeling that. I asked him that why do actually you do that? Why do you go fast? He told me that if snake will bite me first. If I shall step on this snake, then I shall step on, and you will be saved. And that person is an illiterate person. So rationalism does not work always. You know that highly educated people are found corrupt. Doctors steal kidney. Professors do not take class. Shall I give other examples? There are so many examples that highly intellectual people are comparatively more corrupt than the illiterate people. So that neutrality is necessary. Neutrality means you should be Hello.
hello yes sir
Yes, I have come to the balcony, but this is a dark place. Okay, am I audible?
yes sir now you are audible
Okay, thank you. So, 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 when we shall be neutral in our mindset, when we shall be free from our preoccupied understanding, preoccupied thoughts, and we free from our sense organs, appetites of the sense organs, and we shall focus on the situation, the context. That is dharma. That is dharma. Dharma means we have to give justice to the context. What is the context before us? What is the situation before us? And as a rational being, I should be very much flexible to change my principle, to change my strategy. Okay, sometimes it is said that पच्छ घुंचा नहीं बिरल जातकी, पच्छ घुंचा नहीं बिरल जातकी. That means a warrior shouldn't step back. But this is not rationality. I just asked somebody that why did you, is it correct? He said no. Sometimes we have to step back so that we can get space to go speedy. Sometimes we have, suppose a vehicle is it have to go to the up area, so it gets back so that it can manage to go up. Similarly, we have to be very much flexible to give justice to a situation. What is the situation? We should be situation oriented.
Again, a internet problem happened, I think.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Acha, okay. I am forced to conclude here, and I will not speak more. But I had a dream to give a very beautiful ending, but due to this network problem, I conclude here. Otherwise we cannot give time for interaction. Okay, thank you all.
Hello. Am I audible to all of you?
Yes, madam.
Okay. Thank you, Pramod sir, for your, as usual, for your extempo talk and erudite talk on the topic, that is the theories of morality, where you covered basically the three theories, that is utilitarianism, rigorism, and perfectionism, that that is in the course of our UG students, and you very beautifully with many examples, you have gave very beautiful examples. With many examples you have tried to make the thing very clear for the students, and again in your deliberation you have already told us that how the nature of the action determines the principles that we adopt. If we analyze the action of an individual, then we can get to know whether he follows the principles of hedonism or egoism or that of perfectionism. And at the while giving an while explaining the perfectionism, you have talked about my station and its duties, and you focus more on try to be a person, and very emphatically in your concluding portion you very emphatically and assertively you emphasizes that, and you explain that how ethical principles, they are not at all absolute, they are only context specific. So with this I request today's moderator, Mr. Debasis Sarangi, to proceed with the question answer session. Now the topic is open for discussion, and I request Mr. Devasis Sarangi to move on. Over to Devasis.
Thank you very much, ma'am. And I would like to thank Pramod Kumar Das sir for a lucid explanation on the theories of morality. So now there are three questions from the audience. First question is from Satvik Nath. He wants to know, in general, humans have consciousness that is not seen in animals or plants. It is the consciousness that differentiates us. Please explain how can we relate consciousness with causal relations, effects, and principles. Sir, is it audible? Oh, sir is not there. I think again internet is.
Yes, audible. Yes, audible. You are audible.
My voice is audible, but I think Pramod sir has some internet problem. Yeah, you come again. Yeah. Hello, Pramod sir, please unmute yourself. You are muted, sir. Yeah.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Actually, I am getting network problem. Okay. What was the question?
The question was that in general, humans have consciousness that is not seen in animal or plants. It is the consciousness that differentiates us. Please explain how can we relate consciousness with causal relations, effects, and principles.
How can we relate our consciousness with the causal relation?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It is because we are conscious we can understand causality. Animals and plants do not. They are parts of causality, but they don't understand causality. Only human beings can understand the causal relation. Human beings are under causation and can understand causation. But animals and plants, they are parts and parcel of causal principles, but they cannot interpret, they cannot explain causality. Therefore,
again, the internet problem I think happened.
hello.
Hello. Yes, yes, sir. Sir, I think it's network problem. So do we collect this question and post on the group because repeatedly it is network problem is happening. So
Could you hear me? I told the answer. Did you get it or not?
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I said that human beings are conscious, therefore, human beings are aware of causality. They can interpret causality. They can understand causality. Animals and the plants, they come under causal principles, but they cannot interpret. Therefore, in case of actions, human beings can evaluate actions. Animals cannot evaluate it.
Yes, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir. Then the next question is from Kailash Chandra Maharana, sir. He wants to know what's your stand on Indian theories of morals? Are they rigorous or flexible? Why do you think that fixed principles lead to dogma?
No, I could not hear. Please repeat. Please repeat.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's your stand on Indian theories of morals? Are they rigorous or flexible? Why do you think that fixed principles lead to dogma?
From Indian context, I told that the entire Bhagavad Gita is speaking of applied ethics. It is speaking of the flexibility of understanding, that one should not be bound by sensation and a dogmatic understanding. Okay, so we have with us the Bhagavad Gita. That is the best example of Indian scripture, Indian culture. The Bhagavad Gita teaches us that how one should be practical in the practical situation. Our actions determine our being, our essence. Arjuna was a warrior. Arjuna was a warrior. So why should a warrior be confused in the battlefield? Okay. So somebody is a warrior, somebody is knowledgeable, that does not mean he will fit in the context. If somebody does not fit himself in the context, in the situation, then his knowledge is useless. We have knowledge, but so far as our knowledge is not translated into action, our knowledge is useless. We know Veda, just the opposite. So our action determines whether I am really educated, whether I am really cultured, and what type of personality I have. That our action only determines. And that our Indian scriptures, Bhagavad Gita, teaches us. We don't borrow it from Western culture. Our culture says that. Our scripture says that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Then the next question is from Rinki Mahalik. She wants to know, how can we do the right action? What is the principles? What is the principle of right action? How can we know which one is right or wrong? And who will decide this?
Right and rightness and wrongness of our action will be decided by not by the principle but by the situation. That is the beauty of applied ethics. What is the situation before you? What should you do in this particular situation? That matters. What you have done, what shall you do, what you have read, what you have cultured, what principles you are aware of, that does not matter at all. What you reacted, what you did in a particular situation, how you behaved in a particular situation, that makes you what you are. No fixed principle. We no fixed kind of rightness and wrongness for action. We cannot say that this action is right in all contexts. We cannot say. That is absolutism. Absolutism will not stand here. Contextualism will stand. In our very practical life, we experience it. We cannot live with one fixed principle. सेमती हेले लोक एक देवे आपन को रिगोरस बोली कहबे आपन को जिदखोर बोली कहबे आपन को फ्लेक्सिबल होबाक पड़िबो यू हैव टू बी फ्लेक्सिबल फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी इज रैशनैलिटी rigidness is not rationality. Therefore, Kant's rationalism was criticized as rigorous. Rigorous is not a healthy statement. Rigorous is a bad comment on the rationalism. Pure something rational cannot be rigorous. As we say sensuous, similarly it is rigorous. These are the demerits, not merits. So one should be free from that. One should be as flexible as it is possible. Therefore, you see, suppose there is in Corona time, there was extension of net examination for 4 months because that was the demand of the situation. If situation will be changed, government rules will be changed, constitution will be changed, everything will be changed, norms of society will be changed, all the temples will be closed, many things will be changed depending upon the circumstance. Now the slogan is health is priority. This is the slogan. Sometimes it will come, education is should be given priority. So what is given priority, that depends upon the situation, the context. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Then the next question is from Satyajit Sahu. He wants to know, in your views and examples of utilitarianism, utilitarianism produces negative consequences, then how can it be considered as a standard of morality?
No, it is considered by few. It is considered by few. And so far as I had told that there are three possibilities. And sensation is the one possibility of a man. We cannot ignore that. Even we cannot live without sensation. We have to live with sensation, but we have to regulate it. Yes, so far as consequentialism is concerned, certain actions will have consequences, definitely. But you have to be ready for that. If you have done something from your free will, then whatever may be the consequence, you should be ready. Your action and the consequences both are same if you are conscious of action. If you are not conscious of action, you will be afraid of the consequences. If you are thoroughly conscious of the action, you will not be afraid of the consequences. So consequences will come. If there is an action, there will be reaction, there will be consequences. So we have to accept that. And so far as utilitarianism is concerned, that is the lowest possibility of a human being. That makes man selfish. That makes man egoist. Even if altruism, we speak of altruism, that is not in that sense so much meritorious. That is the lowest possibility of a human. The next possibility is rational thinking, understanding, and the finest possibility is realization. Okay, what myself realizes to be good, that is good. What my inner conscience prompts me to be good, that is good, and that varies from context to context. So suppose Kant said promises should be kept. One should not break the promise. But perfectionism will say, if necessary, you will break your promise. If it is necessary for lokasangraha. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said, for lokasangraha, for the welfare of the people, any action is right, whatever it may be, if it is meant for lokasangraha. So I shall keep promise by like Mahabharata, Bhishma Pratigya. No, that is dogma. I have to be flexible. Yes, I had promised that in one context, but the context has been changed. Therefore, with due apology, I am breaking my promise. We should have that flexibility. And that is the application of morality. That is the application of knowledge. Otherwise, your knowledge is not applied in the practical situation. That cannot be. You should be flexible. Okay.
Yes, thank you, sir. Then the next question, I think you have already solved this question in this answer. Kailash Maharana sir has asked, can contextual ethics or situational ethics be an appropriate moral standard for leading a moral life?
Yes, that is the only standard because we live in a context. We suppose now you see, now there was a network problem while I was talking. So I was forced to be flexible to conclude there instantly. I decided to stop my talk because I am getting disturbed by the network. So I should have spoken 10 minutes more, but I became flexible to stop there because the situation. Suddenly there was network problem. So suddenly I changed my decision. So what will happen after 1 minute? What will happen after 1 hour? You cannot predict. Therefore, you have to be ready for the unexpected situations. Okay, whatever the situation, what situation will come after 1 hour, nobody can predict. So what shall I do after 1 hour? I cannot speak it a priorly. I cannot speak it a priorly. Can't, because the context determines the ethics. The context determines. You are extremely happy, but you are joining in a funeral ceremony. Then you should pretend to be sorry. If you are not really sorry, but you have to pretend that because that is the social custom. That the situation demands it. Otherwise, a wrong message will go. We have to be social. We know all social norms are illusory, but still we live in society, so we have to follow the social norms. And society changes, norms change, norms, society changes, norms change, so we have to change accordingly. Otherwise, we stand nowhere. That is that is how we can say, yes, what I know now I could apply that in my life. Otherwise, we are living a dogmatic life. Okay. Suppose a driver is driving a car, he does not drive according to his training. He drives according to the situation of the road. Okay. He is giving training that you should always stick to the left side. But if there is a truck standing on the left side, he has to overtake it. He has to change the training aspects of car driving, because he is driving instantly on the road and he is facing the situation. He should not give the sudden brake. Suppose a boy will come to the front of the car, he will do that. What he will do, what the driver will do, the owner of the car can't predict, because the driver is driving. Okay. When doctors prescribe medicine, they can change the medicine according to the situation of the patient. Suppose they have prescribed medicine for 7 days, but the next day they can change, because the situation of the condition of the patient has been changed. So the medicine should be changed. It is not that I have prescribed for 7 days means the patient will take that for 7. No, that is not medical ethics. Your prescription can be changed according to the condition of the patient. Okay, next question.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Then the next question is from Raja Misra. He wants to know, does free will always plays a negative role in our moral life, or it has some positive things to offer?
Free will does not play any role. Free will is neither negative nor positive. Free will, we have a free will, and out of that free will, we can do something positive or negative. Free will itself is not negative. Neither it is positive, it is not negative. It is a status of human being, that a human being is free, because man is rational, man is endowed with freedom of will, and how we use that freedom. If the freedom is misused, then that leads to problem. If the freedom is properly used, there is no problem. So free will is with all of us, but how you use it, how I use it, that is different. So free will is not negative. Free will is an asset for us. It is a God's gift. That at least we are free to change our decision, to make ourselves, make our destiny. For everything, free will is necessary. Sometimes we fail, and sometimes we win. Okay.
Thank you very much, sir. Then the next question is from Ratnakar Gajendra, sir. It's a long analysis, and the question in the end. So I'll read it. Sensation is necessary in knowledge. Hume says, when I look to the world, I stumble on this perception or that perception. Sensation provides the matter, understanding provides the form. How do you negate both of them? Perfectionism is a middle path between these two. What is your reply?
If you stumble with the sensation, with this sensation or that sensation, then you are just like an animal. And I have told that we are all animals. If I just stumble, as David Hume said, that I stumble with this sensation or that sensation, that I am just like an animal, but I have also understanding. And by that understanding, I can understand the nature of sensation. I cannot skip the past sensation and the forthcoming sensations because they are all connected. Okay, and after that also I find that my understanding is also limited. My understanding may be dogmatic, so I should be flexible in my understanding too. So therefore, perfectionism becomes the middle path. Perfectionism reconciled both sensation and reason. So there is no problem.
Yes, sir.
He's
Thank you.
he's right. He's right. He's right in saying that. He's right in saying that perfectionism is the middle path. I agree with him. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Next question is, you have highlighted the role of context. Is it the same thing as Wittgenstein used theory of meaning?
Now this is not question relevant here. Next question.
Yes. Next question is not contextual ethics relativism? If yes, how can it prescribed as an ethical standard?
Contextualism is relativism. Contextualism is relativism because we cannot have a absolute standard to judge an action to be moral or immoral, non-moral. Our action is relative to the context, and we should honor that. And that is the ethics. Any dogmatic approach is not ethical. Our dogmatic approach to sensation is not ethical. Our dogmatic approach to rationalism is not ethical. So contextualism appears to be more ethical because we practically live with context. Therefore, applied ethics is focused today. It is more rational. It is more rational than rationalism. Applied ethics is more rational than rationalism. So we have to accept that relativism. That is ethical, that is not unethical. We should give justice to a context because we always find ourselves and others, even the society, even the government, even the country, in different contexts. Suppose there is corona now, the crisis. Corona crisis is not the context of an individual. It's the context of the society, the context of the government, it's the context of a country. It is a global context now. Therefore, we are doing online classes, etc., etc., etc. All these things have been changed because of this contextual demand. So, as the context, so should be your action. That is the ethics. If your action is contrary to the context or contradictory to the context, that is most unethical. One should not do that. Next question.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. That's the end of all the questions. Thank you very much for nicely responding all the questions. So now it offers to Kalyani ma'am. Hello.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. You are audible.
Thank you, Devasis, for moderating the question answer session. The number of questions that is raised by the participants that indicates the gravity of the knowledge of the speaker, the level of the clarity of the speaker. So with this, I thank you all for your active participation. I am my heartfelt thanks um, to Pramod Kumar Das sir for for his today's deliberation, and I am thankful to each and one of you all, and because your participation makes finally that counts, and it makes it a very successful evening with very good notes. And thank you the members of the organizing committee. Thank you, Pramod sir. Thank you, Devasis. And thank you all the participants for your active participation, for your presence, for your support, and for everything. Thank you all. Namaskar and good night. Thank you.